Welcome to PTG TV. This is your host, Antonio Hicks, aka Escaping the Matrix. In this week's episode of Real Talk and Conversation, we take on the anti-transgender bills that's being passed across the U.S. and the politicians, yet again, infringing upon someone else's rights. We'll be discussing the alarming trend of anti-transgender bill being sponsored and also why they're being used to discriminate against and marginalize against transgender individuals, targeting everything from healthcare to sports participation to access to public restrooms. We'll be exploring the origins and motivations behind these bills, as well as the potential consequences for the transgender community if they were to become law. So join us as we delve into this critical issue and explore what we can do to support the transgender community and protect their rights. In this discussion, Jesus Christ, I can't talk. In this discussion, I welcome back Jersey and Marlena to talk further about what we can do and the issues at hand. Welcome on, you all, and welcome back.
Hey, Antonio. Hey, I'm Marlena. How are you doing?
Hey, Jersey. Hey, Antonio. I'm doing well. Hope you guys are too.
Yeah, I could be better.
I woke up today.
I could be better.
And hello to you, to the new friend, the fourth member of this little
Dallas. Yes, Dallas is joining us today for
I have
our
a cousin named Dallas.
Giving our opinions.
Mm-hmm.
There we are. Yes, he's got some major opinions on the issue at hand.
Puppy laws, the dogs being discriminated against.
Well, we all should be treated fairly and equally, and he just thinks that as well. He thinks just because his short stature he should not be discriminated against. He should be able to go to the big park like the big dogs.
Yeah, there you go. I like it.
How I feel about that? For his own safety though, I don't know how I feel about that, because big dogs kind of intimidating.
He's got his bodyguard. Why shouldn't he be able to go as well? He's got Apollo. He's a pit bull.
Actually, I'm with Marlena on this one. I had a small dog myself, and like I was like, whenever it's on me, like I trust my dog to know his place, and like his best friend was a pit bull, and so like
so he can hold his own, right?
Yeah,
absolutely. Everything has vital points. Yeah, we are talking about violence, but we're not talking about violence. We're talking about violence that's taking place against the trans community. And yeah, just to get on that, it's like really been agitating me lately, because I saw one of the politicians, actually both politicians in Tennessee, and one of the bills they just lately passed to prevent transgender people across drag queens or people in drag from teaching kids and being able to like talk to them within like public places and whatnot. And then come to find out the governor was in drag in one of his high school events, and it pissed him off when he got called out on it. And the lieutenant, is he the lieutenant governor? He got caught because, and there's always those people that's opposed to things, the ones that's actually doing the dirt behind the scenes. So he got caught flirting with and trying to talk to, under his official, government account on Instagram, flirting with this gay kid, and like liking his posts and talking about, you put a smile and a rainbow on people's day when he had posted his picture in his thong and stuff. So it's those people that really pisses me off, to where they create things to discriminate against individuals when they themselves are participating in drinking that very Kool-Aid that they want to ban people from getting a part of.
It's a long-standing thing of just, I hate we're having this conversation. I feel like this is a waste of time, but it's not. And I feel like it's a waste of time for a different reason. It's because this shouldn't be a problem. I mean, people are people. They're going to be who they are. So, like, there are actual issues we could be talking about. This should not be one of them. But unfortunately, we're being forced to talk about this by people that are a segment of the population is trying to take away rights and overtly oppress people for no reason whatsoever. I don't care where you take a dump. Why no one should care about this, but here we are making laws about it, and it's frustrating that we're spending all this time on it.
Right, and I think that's the biggest kicker for me, because like you said, even having run for office, and because I still get a little pissed off about what people don't talk about when running for office, and some of these groups that's out there that's helping to canvass and help other politicians. I'm like, there are other key things that we should be focusing on. We should be focusing on human trafficking and why it's a spiking that. We should be focusing on why why people don't have access to proper health care, why kids are going to school hungry because their parents can't really afford to even provide for their families at home, working 2 to 3 full-time jobs. We should be talking about people, again, retirement funds. Why they're trying to wipe out Social Security. Yep. I mean, there's so many other things that we can be focusing on. But yeah, we want to talk about trans people. I don't care what you do in your bedroom. As long as like I've always said, and I will continue to say, I don't care what you're doing. You could be the biggest freak in the world. And if you got some techniques out there, let me know about them, because I mean, I enjoy stuff like that too. But they don't need a bill to be put into place to ban against them. I'm like, I don't care what you're doing. I don't care how you come out in public. I really don't care. You could be a furry. And those that don't know who furries are, I actually like furries. Yeah. You could be a furry. I don't care about this stuff. I don't think, why do I care? Because I mean, and then when it comes to like the drag shows in Tennessee, I'm like, you're banning those things. But I was like, but who brings the kids to the drag readings? The kids don't arbitrarily just walk there. Their parents bring them there. So now you're telling the parents that they don't even have a right to take their kids wherever they want to take their kids.
It's
go
ahead.
Go for it.
I was just saying, it just seems weird for the government to like put in law a dress code in the first place. Like, I mean, you're telling like everyone what they can and cannot wear by law. Like, you can be arrested now, or complete political restitution or retribution with like in Florida, where they're taking away liquor licenses and weaponizing, you know, government agencies for just ideas that they don't like. And that's another just scary road to hoe. It's, you know, it's kind of weird for that.
Hey, Marlene.
Well, back on the bills and the trans community, I think that it's important just to talk about it because just like you and I, it's brought up. It's every day. It's important to talk about just because it is absolutely okay to be, I always say, be authentically you, be who you are 100%. I don't care which part of the alphabet you want to identify yourself with. I think people are people. I think here at home, I share my bathroom with my husband and my son. There's a door on it. Only one person's in at one time. When it comes to all sorts of who you're taking your kids to hang out with, it depends on what kind of person you want your child to be, or what kind of environment do you want your child to be raised. I want my children to accept everybody, all people. I believe that the personality and the soul is who makes that person. It doesn't matter what their outside vessel looks like or what they want to present themselves as. Even if that's in the workplace or athletics. I know that there's a lot of talk on trans athletics, wrestling, running, swimming, a lot of question being brought up, like, should they be able to compete with women? As far as, I think it should be able to, what is your talent? And I think we all should be able to express our talent in any avenue, however our vessel, whatever that vessel is on this side, whatever our talent is, we should be able to express that talent. It doesn't matter what our vessel looks like. If that's singing, dancing, reading a book, writing a book, singing a poem, dance, whatever it is, playing tennis, swimming. I know there's a lot of questions that come into play, but we talk about risk. You're taking a risk into joining that certain athletic group, or you're taking a risk into joining that certain Christian group. My point is that we're all human beings, and we all should be able to express ourselves as such. Doesn't matter which race, religion, or letter of the alphabet you identify with. And I say that, and I don't mean any disrespect to LGBTQ plus community, or in the trans community, because when I see somebody, I see that person for who they are. And to me, it doesn't matter what status they have. If they're the president of the United States, or if they're helping me clean my toilet at the 7-Eleven, they're the same person to me. And as long as they have a heart and they're breathing, I know God loves us for who we are. So it shouldn't be a question. It shouldn't be anybody's question or anybody's decision, what we get to do with ourselves. Just like with women's rights and abortion, I don't think it's any man's decision to get to decide what we get to do. We live through that moment. It's not anybody's place or decision to say, I want to be a girl, I want to be a boy. It's that person's individual decision. It's that person's soul. and what they want to present themselves to the world. And like I said, you want to go around creating joy to the world and create that happiness, create that starting at home. So you teach your children, like you said, you're going to take these children to those events. And maybe it's the same person. Maybe they're afraid to speak up. Maybe it's they're not time to tell people, maybe I like to wear heels. I like those red bottom heels. Or maybe they don't want to tell people I like those dicky pants. Because the truth is, I like wearing men and women's clothes. You know, I think women are beautiful. I think men are beautiful. And I think that the soul is gorgeous. And I think that's what is attractive about a human being, the human nature, is that just because of this vessel, we can decorate it any way we want. It's like putting tattoos or piercings or wearing our hair, you know, crazy or not, or whatever, purple, green, yellow, you know. I think that we get to be unique. And I think that's the beauty of being human in our race and our culture, is that we get to be that. We get to be unique. We get to choose that. So these bills, I think it makes me sick. I want to vomit. I want to vomit when people talk about these Karens and talking to, you know, I just let the people be. Let them be. They're not doing anything wrong to you. I'm not doing anything wrong to you. They're just, we want to live life and live in this vessel that we're given. So these politicians and their opinions, because they want to hide something that they may or may not be doing, because I think everybody has skeletons in their closets and mine aren't pretty. So I don't think we should be able to judge. Somebody asked me the question, are you a very judgmental person? Yeah, absolutely. Of my own goals. Absolutely. I'm very judgmental. And I'm trying daily not to be judgmental of my own goals, my own ideals, my own morals, and trying not to criticize myself. So why should I go around doing that to other people? It's just not fair. And I know I went on a rant there, but I think that that was my moment to kind of step up, because I just think that we're beautiful. And I think that everybody should be able to express who they are.
No, you're good. I mean, I say the same thing, especially when it comes to women that actually support this kind of banter. And even black and brown people, I'm like, you know, it hadn't been not too long ago, a year ago, where they was discriminating against you, especially with the whole mask thing. Like, the government can't tell us we can't, we got to wear a mask to protect ourselves from a pandemic. And I was like, you know, it's real interesting, because the government was trying to tell us that we would sagged our pants, that you were going to, which they did in Florida, because Jersey, you brought up Florida, that they actually passed a bill to where in one county that if they were sagging their pants, they could be arrested and locked up. And I'm just like, you know, or when it comes to hair, like, you know, I have an afro. So certain places, wouldn't they, you know, corporate jobs and stuff, they would discriminate against you because you wear your natural hair. You could be locks or whatever. And they didn't want you wouldn't get an advance because of those things. So it's like, you know, it's easy when you can do it against other people, but you hate when it's done right back to you. And I think that's what agitates me the most when it comes to politicians and people that's of the far right group. Because again, I've always said, and I will always say, I need us as a species to move past this crap, because I'm like, we're not working towards any form of evolution. We're focused on dividing each other, and they will always want to say, "Oh, it's the left that's doing it." I'm like, no, it's pretty much the extreme right and these freaking those of the religious community, because I'm like, yeah, you can quote stuff in the Bible, but I'm like, okay, it might have said that in the Old Testament, but I'm like, it sure as hell said you shouldn't be eating all this pork and stuff in the Old Testament, but you tearing down these goddamn bacon sandwiches. So I'm like, so go ahead. I'm like, you picking and choosing what you want to represent in the Bible.
True.
You said, I tell you what, Marlena, I mean, that was a phenomenal, I mean, you say it's rant, I think it's a phenomenal statement. I mean, all those things are true. Like, we're all individual people. You know, it's, you know, we should be judged on our actions, not who we are. And it's like, this is not a choice. People don't understand that. You know, this is the same rhetoric we're still hearing on the gay community, right? And it's like, you know, just, you know, this is your choice, your lifestyle choice. Like, this is not a choice. This is how people are. And who cares? You know,
even if it was my choice.
Yeah, and if it was, like, for example, while I'm looking at my screen, I see John Jersey Ketteridge. I go by Jersey. You know, that's my choice, like, because that's what people know. I mean, it's this benign, it's a benign nickname, right? But people know me as Jersey. That's what people call me. But this is and that's, people respect that universally. Now, why is it cool for me to do that, but not them? That very simple thing. You know, like, if I want to be called Mike, call me Mike. If Antonio wants to be called, you know, Escaping the Matrix, he was going to change his name legally to Escaping the Matrix. I'll call him Escaping the Matrix. And there's nothing wrong with that. So This should not, this should not be a big deal. And it's just what's really disturbing is it comes from a place of complete hate. It's about
ignorance
it's
and education,
ignorance, hate, and it's about further marginalizing and a already marginalized group of people. And that's the biggest problem.
Yeah, I don't get any of it. Again, because it agitates me because I'm like, we just got out of, I mean, hell, it's actually we still in the pandemic. We technically just got out of a pandemic. And these very group of people that were storming capitals because the government was telling them to stay their asses at home or to cover their face up to prevent from spreading a virus and or to go get vaccinated, swearing to God that it was getting sterilized. I'm like, some of y'all need to be sterilized because you don't need to be procreating and making any more ignorant fools like you. But still, I'm just like, but you have an issue with that. But on the same token, you don't have a problem with telling people what they can't do. And some, oh, we're doing this for the children. Okay, well, if you're doing it for the children, make sure the children are fed.
You mentioned something that I heard today about procreation, and they were talking about how this movement of the trans community was to take control over the procreation. Women are supposed to create women. That doesn't take anything away, because if a woman decides to be a trans man, they still have those same organs and still able to have the ability to have children. So if they still wanted to have a child, then they can still have that and give that back to the world. Um, Now I understand that a man cannot have a baby, and it's because they know that going into that transition, and they accept that. But if they're willing to nurture a child, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. And I heard a comment today. I was on a reel. I heard a reel, and they were saying kind of like the whole what's that story called, the maidens with the red coats. They were what is that? It's not a Netflix, like a Hulu series now. Anyways, never, besides the point. They were trying to sterilize and keep them from not procreating, for women not having babies, and that's why it was okay, and that's why they're making this a norm, and that's why it's not okay to make it a norm. But like I said, if you're still able to have that child, I think that person should be able to do so if they wish.
Right. I mean, because you have like a hip hop artist here in Atlanta called the Brat. She's a lesbian. She's married to a whole woman, and she's pregnant. So it's like, just because you now are part of a different group, and that's your choice. That, again, like you said, there's nothing stopping you from still being able to procreate.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's okay. I believe it's okay.
And if you can or can't, that's, again, if you can have one, do it. None of my business.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, whatever.
And
it shouldn't be, and it shouldn't even be a topic, because we don't go about. Have y'all seen the new ones where the people are like, they're coming out straight, or they're coming out and they're like, the parents are upset or whatever? They're, what? Have you seen those stupid videos? I say they're stupid, but they're not. They're kind of actually really clever.
And all these things, the thing is, like, you're talking about, like, protecting the children. Okay. First off, none of these things has damaged any kids. There just isn't anything out there. Nothing's ever happened. And they talk about, like, protecting kids, or this is about the children. Like, all right, well, none of this has ever hurt children. It just hasn't happened. But yet, like, God help you if you're a gay couple and just want to adopt a kid. Good luck. Like, you better be in the right state.
My cousins have children, and I think that's the best thing that they could have done.
They'd rather, like, that's the thing. There's like, oh, you're gay? Well, we'd rather keep them in this the loveless orphanage with just ramen noodles to eat than have a loving family of a gay couple. So it's not about the kid. It's just about this oppressive, hateful rhetoric. That's what it is.
But and that's my thing. It's still based on their religious beliefs. So when you argue with them, like, I saw one video that went, it was kind of viral, and I forget what state it was in. I don't know if it was Utah or someplace. And this gay couple were trying to get married. Two guys getting married, but the lady refused to give them their marriage license. And it's law that she has to give it to him. And she was like, "Well, I go by God's law." And I think she just got punched in her face. But and that's me. I do promote violence sometimes. I'll say that openly. But I'm like, why are you? I'm like, you won't even. So there again, we're talking about law. You there again don't want the government telling you what you can and can't do when it came to the pandemic, but the government is telling you what you should be doing when in regards to other people, and you refuse to do it because you want to cite your religious beliefs and freedom. But I'm like, okay, there. So you don't want to bake a cake for a gay couple. You get sued and they win. But then the government comes in next and tell you, hey, well, you should be doing X, Y, and Z. And they refuse to do that. But then let something happen to them. And now they want the government to step in and help them out.
Yeah.
Oh, we need, some COVID relief funds to help take care of us in our business because we don't have people showing up in our business anymore. Why don't you figure it out? Figure that shit out. Figure it out.
That's the dangerous part about these religious freedom laws is basically I want the religious freedom to discriminate. That's all they are. It's all it is. And you mentioned Utah. That was the thing with Kim Davis. That was the county clerk in Kentucky, and I wrote a whole thing about that where she was court ordered. She's refused to do it because it's God's law. Well, no, like marriage. This is legal. This is your job. Your job is to do this.
Was it Kentucky?
Yeah, it was Kim. It was Kim Davis, Kentucky. I remember
it was when it first was legalized, and she was refusing.
Yeah, and I actually wrote an article for a friend of mine for that, and that's the thing is like she was court ordered, she was arrested because she didn't do her job, and there's a whole thing about that, and it's not your job. It's not your business. Who cares?
No, because that was the thing.
It's not your moral opinion. It's supposed to be just your job.
Want to be gay? If they want to be trans, they want to be anything. If they want to be black haired or blonde haired or whatever, who cares? Why do you give a rat's ass?
Right.
Just get out of the way. We're not saying that you have to be trans. We're just saying these people do, or gay, or anything else.
But why are you forcing your religious beliefs upon me? Because is there not the same thing when 45, because he has no place and his name will never exist coming out of my mouth, was trying to ban anything and everything coming from Muslim countries, and they were like, well, we have elected politicians that are Muslim, and they're trying to enact Sharia law to tell us what we can and cannot do. And look at these freaking far right goddamn Christians doing the exact same thing. They talking about they didn't want the Muslim group to do.
We've talked about cancel culture, and that's a thing. And that's the thing I kind of laugh at, roll my eyes when I talk to a friend of mine who's a Republican. Snoop Dogg's getting hate today. This is bullshit. Like, dude. No one cares about that sort of thing. They're actually writing into law right now. The far right this is cancel culture.
Yeah.
This is what they're actually writing laws about what you can and can't do.
Right.
Like you want to talk about maybe overstepping their bounds, and I'll accept even the premise of the cancel culture exists, whether it be an actor that got fired for saying something really stupid. Okay, I don't really care, and nothing really happened. But now they're writing laws about what you can and can't do. This if you want to talk about cancel culture or woke, this is brutal. This is the scary part.
So what do you think people can do about it?
Talk about it.
I'm not going to say it again.
The one thing I think I'll give Hollywood in general, just as one big group, their entertainment industry or whatever. Like one thing they've done very well, I thought, like even just for the gay community, they've brought society along with them, and they've normalized it. From characters in sitcoms, from Ellen DeGeneres to Will and Grace to now, like I think without Hollywood in the entertainment industry, we haven't made that much progress. We probably wouldn't even have gay marriage right now. I think they've given a lot of credit. There's a lot of bad too, but I think they've done a lot to normalize this type of thing. I think just the discussions are important. Education is important. Ask questions, don't make statements. That's the kind of thing. If you see someone like who's trans or gay or blonde haired or whatever, ask them what it's like, or ask them why. Or how does it feel? Like,
I think it's just being accepting. Like, okay, so let me just
don't do that.
So I grew up knowing that I had gay family. I knew that. I knew that. I knew that I liked girls from, 13 years old. I knew I liked a girl. I still look at girls and think they're gorgeous, and I'm married. I don't label myself bisexual. I'm just person. I took home a girl to my family one time. They're like, what, Marlene? Just whatever, it's a phase. But I'm a person, like I said, I'm attracted to the soul. I don't care. And I think a person's a person. I grew up knowing that my cousin was gay and seeing my family, like, just the way they talk to them, even the things that they would say to them. We grew up in a very stigmatizing, derogatory names like joto or like, maricon, or stupid shit that pissed me off that I just saw growing up. And then you didn't want to have any, like I said, a person's a person. I don't like to label it. I don't want to label it. If you want to be, you want to wear your shoes, you want to wear makeup, if you'd like to go get breast implants. My mom got breast implants. I don't need them. I mean, whatever makes you feel comfortable, that's your life. You're the only one that's going to live that life. You're the only one that gets to love you. And if any, you're going to get to make your community that loves you. And I mean, I think even now, as to have to label as a bisexual mother who's now married into a heterosexual, like, do I have to say all that stupid stuff? Come on. Why do I have to say it? Why do they have to say it? I'm not saying that they're saying it to say it, but why are you enforcing somebody to say it just because you want to call them out? Because you want to say that. It doesn't matter if you want to go and drag. Who cares? That's fun. What if I want to go get dressed up on Halloween? I'm not saying the two are the same. I'm just saying if I'd like to dress up in goth clothes all the time, I should be able to do that. Yeah. He doesn't, if they want to wear drag queen on the weekend, they could be a drag queen on the weekend. If they want to dress as a woman full time, let them dress as a woman. I dress in men's clothes 100% of the time. So
like what I ever thought about too was like cosplay. Like how does it affect the conventions and stuff, the Comic-Cons?
It's like I don't understand, why should it even?
It shouldn't. And like I think Marlene, you said very well. Where like this should not be like the first thing you say about yourself. As a person, like me saying I'm a heterosexual male is not even, I don't say, hi, I'm Jersey, I'm a heterosexual male. No, I say, hey, I am from New Jersey. I like video games. I love reading. I love stories about the mob.
Hi, my name is Jersey.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter. Like that shouldn't be, it shouldn't be at all like the first line item or it's just the scary part is like the stigmatization, you know what I'm saying? And it's just, we should just be accepting that shouldn't, that's the problem. Like I think what Tanya was asking though, this is a question I have too, is we know, right? The three of us, we know, like, I don't care. You don't care. I have trans friends and like, oh, okay, cool. Buy a beer. Don't care.
It's like, damn, your boobs are better than mine. Yeah.
Right. And that goes with gay or anything else. And so we're there already. But the question is, how do we get other folks to
and we do that by being that voice, by being accepted. Like I said, I teach my kids, like when I talk to them and I will say this, I'll tell my kids will have a conversation. Mom, so-and-so was a fight. And oh my gosh, I can't believe she did it. And then the first thing out of my head, because I'm programmed, was she white or black? I'm a Hispanic lady. So I'm like, is she white or black? And what does that even matter?
Right.
Yeah. And I'm like, I guess it doesn't. I guess I don't know why I said it. And then she puts me in a place like, damn, why did you ask? Why the hell does that even matter? Like, what is the even relevancy of that? And then
I care when it comes.
I know
to
why you care. You already told me why you care, because you get more in trouble being African. I understand.
And it's
that's a practical problem.
I understand what you're saying, and you have to raise your kids in that sort. I'm not cutting you off because you should be recognized and valued for that, Antonio. Because you have to teach your kids, and as an African American, you have to teach your children that and that's sad. It's unfortunate that is sad. As my kids are mixed, they don't look Hispanic and they are in the white culture, but are still in Hispanic. For me to even say any of that shit was just irrelevant. It just was uncool. My kids are mixed. There was no point of me saying it, but I was programmed in my brain because I was raised that way. Like, who fought? Oh my God, were they, that's not cool. Why do we have to say, oh, were they gay?
So let me ask you this though. So you have younger kids. Do you think they're being indoctrinated? Because my kids are grown. I mean, because when they was growing up, it was Thomas the Train and some other stuff. They didn't have like any, homosexual characters. So do you think kids nowadays are being groomed?
I cannot tell you that because I raised my kids in a different type of way. I cannot tell you that because like I said, I didn't raise my kids in any type of way because I try to get away from that. I try to get away from the environment of like, remember when we first talked to you, like, what are you, Hispanic, Latino? I said that was one of those taboo things. Like I couldn't talk about it because when I was growing up, they were like, I couldn't be Mexican because they were all wetbacks. It didn't matter. And I so much wanted to have a culture. I wanted to have something to represent. And I didn't know what that was. And for me, I wanted to accept everything. And like I'm learning every day to accept all cultures, accept all. I want to embrace everybody's culture, everybody's heritage, everybody's practices, and kind of just make a whole this kind of like our own vibe, my own world, and try to see what I do. Like I'm freestyling it and just vibing right in the way because I don't want to raise those kids or like, oh, you're queer, you're gay, or you're a, I don't like that. I don't want you to say faggot. I don't want you to say queer. I don't want you to say gay. I don't need there to be a label. I don't want you to say the N word. And I don't want you to be that person. And I want you to put me in my place. Like when my daughter said, Mom, what was the relevance of that? Like I now understand if a crime happened and an officer says, can you please tell me so we can specify what this individual did? This wasn't that type of situation. It made no difference. There was 2 kids who got in an argument over a pencil. Yeah. And then they ended up fighting and the 2 girls got in trouble. It didn't matter.
I mean, I asked the question because I don't think that cartoons they're not grooming kids. I'm like, it's just showing the real world. Because I was like, and it's like I told my boys, so it's even their mom and we would talk about it sometimes because I'm just real with my boys, and I'm like, either they're gonna get it from me, they're gonna get it from the real world. So I'm like,
yeah, that's what honesty comes in. That's why I raise my kids with honesty, just real world honesty.
Yeah. The thing is, Antonio, I don't think for a second, like I said before, it's not a choice. No one's groomed to be gay. No one's groomed to be trans. No one, zero. Now, people that throw down the N-bomb, the people that throw stuff at trans people, at gay people, those people are groomed.
Yeah,
they've been groomed their whole life.
It's programmed. That's why I said it was it's a program.
No, for sure. And that's, you want to talk about the super religious right, that those are groomed.
Yeah.
Those are the ones been programmed from zero to marginalize and hate different people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And none of the no drag shows, no gay people, no trans has ever groomed anybody and have never been groomed.
So that's what I'm saying. What do you do moving forward? You create the new generation fresh. That's what you got to teach them, is that you take whatever's good out of those lessons and you implement those, like Muslim faith and community. You be good, kind to everybody, and you know this and that. But I'm not going to tell my daughter that her hair is a beauty thing and she's going to need that for cover modesty, or I don't understand precisely how that works, but something about the hair being modest and like in death, they have to cover the breast. In a passing life, and I'm like, I would never tell my daughter that, like, ever.
My thing with everybody is this: when people bring up the issues, I'm like, what are the problems that you're facing today? Yeah, if the problems you're facing today,
not a problem.
Right? I was like, if the problems you're facing today have nothing to do around what somebody is doing in their bedroom or how they look walking around in public, why the hell do you care? Like, why do you care? And then if you care so much about other people's kids, well, then do you care about the mother that's birthing that child, or when the child comes out and the stuff the mother has to go through to get her body back right? Yeah. I'm like, do you care about those issues, or do you care about us even having access to proper health care? Or kids being able to be able to eat, going to and from school? So if you care, like real world, to me, when I talk about like what can we do going forward, I'm like, remind people of the real shit. Because I'm like, if that you have bills that you have to worry about, you have to worry about cost of living, you have to worry about your retirement, you have to worry about raising your kids, you have to worry about what schools your kids go to, you have to worry about if your kids going into higher education, what they're doing with that, or if they're going to a trade school, what trade school they're going to. In none of those real life situations does anything affecting coming from the trans community or the LGBTQ community and or the Black community and or the Hispanic Latino community, or any of those communities. They don't affect anything in your everyday life. So why the hell do you even care? Why even try to pass a bill about something that's not going to make anything beneficial for you and move you forward?
Agreed. That's where like I agree with you entirely. This is a waste of time. This is why I was saying I feel like it's a waste of time. It's not for
I feel it is. It is a waste of time.
It's a waste of time, like the way I was saying before, but there's there's 2 reasons. One is we have to go support to a marginalized community. The LGBTQ across the board, trans community needs support. They do.
So we vote against the bill.
But
yeah, well, so
it's about then it's the leaders. The scary part, Antonio, too, is then you have this overreach of the government telling you exactly what you can't do. Now, like the healthcare question you're saying, like you have in Republicans, let's just call it Republican states, hospitals are now shutting down OBGYN sections of the hospital because they're afraid of getting in trouble. You cannot. They won't allow women to come into the doors if they're trying to give birth.
Yeah.
You know, that's what happened. It started in Idaho, where like, nope, can't give birth here because we don't want, because we might get in trouble for doing something wrong.
Seriously?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so also hospitals now are saying no to that. So the creation of all these horrific consequences, and they don't give a shit. So that's the two things. Like again, it's we have to understand what the actual repercussions functionally for anyone, for everyone, and also the support of this community.
Yeah, I mean, that's why like I get agitated when it comes to other marginalized communities and how they're supportive of this stuff, and they get out and make their own hate social media posts and stuff, saying that kids are being groomed and that there's an agenda. And I don't think there's an agenda. I think fight your fight. Fight your fight. And I mean, you can have an opinion about the community. I mean, you can have everybody's entitled to their own community, their own opinion. You are. I just hate when you try to involve the government in passing things, telling what people can and cannot do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can get on a corner, and I know a lot of people won't like me saying this, but you can get on a corner and preach as much as you want, and you can scream because you have every right to do that. That you don't want, the LGBTQ people around or trans people around your area. I don't care about that at all. Just don't be telling me what I can't do by law and trying to hold me accountable because I'm wanting to do something. Everything else can be dealt with in other ways. Yeah. But I don't agree with a law being passed because again, the same thing was said, and they practiced religion when they was burning black people on crosses and stuff and on trees. And I'm like, let's go back and get them for doing that.
They're saying the same words as when they're trying to for any marginalized group, whether it be black people or gays or anybody or immigrants. Yeah, and the rhetoric is almost exactly the same. You know, it is. And this is just a marginalized group, and it's how do we support it, and how do we? I have a big problem. Like I agree 100% with you, Antonio. It's about creating laws about it. The cancel culture is, to me, again, when people say cancel culture, I don't think it's a real thing. I just don't. Whether it be Joe Rogan, whoever, talking about cancel culture, like they're fine. Like I don't care about this like multi-million-dollar actor that doesn't have a show or like still has a show and just getting criticized, being canceled, whatever. That doesn't mean anything. This is cancel culture. We're actually creating laws of what you cannot do, or even who you can be. That's cancel culture.
Or be with. Mm-hmm. It was one of the states that was passing a law that actually affects, who you can marry. No, I mean, I'm talking about interracial marriage, not just a marriage. Interracial marriages. They can now deny those marriage licenses.
I mean, there's a work trying to take away birth control. There's work trying to outlaw birth control. They're criminalizing pharmacists and doctors for doing their job. Hell, they're even what a man and woman want to do, how they want to act in their own bedrooms, whether it's illegal. Like this is such a waste of time. Like you said.
I do remember that bill was trying to pass.
No, it's still it's got another upsurge. Yeah, upsurge.
The one about oral sex?
They're trying to they're trying to codify. There's only one way to have sex.
I'm like, how do you know?
Oh yeah, never mind.
And what did they deem appropriate as the only way? Because curious minds are wondering.
Yeah, because like, how would you? Is it because how I scream? I'm like, how would you know what I'm doing in my bedroom?
Like, like certain decibels.
You know, that's what I'm saying. It's like, how are you gonna monitor me? Yeah, when I heard them proposing that, I was like, bro, how you in my room? I was like, oral sex is good. I was like, why are you trying to ban that?
Damn right.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yes. They're literally trying to control.
Let me knocking on the door. Excuse me.
Oh, yeah. Enforceability is.
I get arrested 10 times over.
For that one, but again, it's just like, why? What the fuck time do you have to be spending on this shit?
Why is that even relevant? Why is it anybody's business?
Yeah.
And it goes to everybody else's. People just want something to talk about. Somebody wants something new to argue about. They want the next new. I'm not saying that this isn't new. I'm not saying that it's not relevant, but it's just something extra for big market businesses to make money off of, for politicians to make money off of, for people with obscured opinions to speak their minds with little lack of knowledge or education.
It works though. I mean, it's all it is. It's finding boogeymen, right?
Yeah. Come on in, you guys.
Yeah, I just can't stand the hate. I'm ready to move past that, and I get tired of just seeing everybody arguing.
I'm kind of ready for the zombie apocalypse.
Or the aliens.
Or the aliens, yeah. If the aliens come first, I mean, come on, you guys.
I'm going to hang out with Bipple.
If aliens come, take me. Y'all like this blue light?
You can experiment on me all you want.
YouTube.
As a matter of fact, enhance me. Let me go to some whole other planet. Let me bring my kids and stuff too. Let me go to a whole other planet. I'll still get away.
I'm telling you, if the aliens came, I'd be the first. We talk about this all the time. My husband watches all the documentaries. He's all about outer space and space exploration. And we always talk about if there was a chance. I know Elon's trying to make Mars a thing, but I wouldn't want to be the first ones to go out there.
I would.
You would?
I would.
Would you take SpaceX up?
Yeah, I would go. But you have to understand too, though, and this is getting off the topic, but those that go up, you're going to be slaves.
Oh yeah, because because you're going to build everything first.
Right. Yep. I hate to say it that way, but you really are going to be a slave. So
yeah, you're going to be a slave first.
And I wouldn't mind that at first. If I'm up there with my team of people, as long as you have anybody that we're trying to they're again discriminating against me and like hold me down with a weapon and whatever, I'll build my own outside while I'm working. When I'm off work, I'll build my own outside colony. I would not.
He said, I learned from my people. He's gonna be taking seeds and rolling them in his hair.
Yep.
He's like, I'm gonna make my own.
I will make my own.
Antonio Hicks religion. That's the key. Give him that way.
There you go, Antonio. Yes. You will go up there and be the first to colonize, and you will start to make your own.
The religion of Matrix. Absolutely.
That's right. That's it.
The choice to be free. So as we wind down, because I don't want to get too agitated talking about this topic, because I know what it means to be out in the street, be down the block talking about this stuff. And it agitates me to no end. I brought it up today because, we got new laws being passed now, especially in Tennessee and other places. And I can't stand the hypocrites. Because like I was talking about the religious nuts too, like we had Eddie Long down here. And he was, I don't even want to say the name of his church, because the church is doing good right now. But prior to the church doing good right now, he was one of the main people down here marching and saying that, we got to stop the LGBTQ community and the movement and whatnot. And come to find out, he's smashing boys on the side. Paying for apartments and cars and everything else, and ultimately end up catching something that he probably didn't want to catch, and he died from it. Now, of course, they will say that hadn't been verified and it's just a rumor, but rumor has it.
So, we wouldn't be surprised, right? It just and don't forget the last 5 hurricanes is gay culture and just the gays and that volcano we're talking about earlier, when that erupts, that'll be because of the gays. Don't forget that.
No, it's because of woke people. That's what's going to happen. It's because
it's so frustrating.
Yeah. There is no environmental change. There is no greenhouse gases and stuff going up. It's the woke and all of their banter and their talk and all the hate that they're spewing and the divisiveness that's going up into the atmosphere, causing things to change and change this planet. And until we get the wokeness under control, we will never be right when it comes to the planet and deforestation and everything else. We have to out the seeds of wokeness.
Well, somebody's always woke about something new, different every day. So there's always something new to be woke about. I don't even know if I'm woke enough to be woke.
I don't even know I still don't know what it means. I kind of do, but I kind of
nobody knows what it means.
Yeah, like
that's what I was saying. I don't know if I'm woke enough to be woke.
Nobody knows what it means.
Again, when no one talks about it. That's the thing that again, when we talk about woke people, the only people talk about woke people are people that hate woke. Yeah. I don't know anyone who's woke, and I know no one who talks about being woke. They just want to fix bridges and healthcare. Shit. Exactly.
I enjoy being woke because when I was asleep, when I was asleep, my sleep helped me figure out things that I want to fix when I'm woke. Yeah. So when I'm woke, I can go resolve those issues I was working on in my sleep. So I'm like, I don't mind being woke. I don't mind it at all. Wake me up.
I like to be walking in my woke.
Yes, I enjoy walking in my woke. Hence the escaping the matrix. Wake me up out of this goddamn matrix into the real world So
we're
I
all
can
living
see.
in an alternate reality. We're gonna wake up one day and it's gonna be a dream.
Yes.
So it won't matter.
Final thoughts, y'all. Thank y'all for coming back and thank y'all for always coming back. Y'all gonna favorite be back. And getting on this topic, because like I said, it was something that was kind of stewing up inside of me. And as I embark upon releasing myself this week and releasing in a good way, there's no pauses behind that. I want to tackle on this issue. So, final thoughts.
I'll say, like, I have, multiple friends with the LGBTQ community, and I remember just growing up like years ago and seeing some folks being suicidal about what their station is. And the key is acceptance. That's the only reason why they're suicidal is because they want to be who they are, and society won't let them. And so, that's why I keep on saying support. And it's, this is a big deal. Like, it's even just looking logically from, if you're looking at someone who doesn't know what they're doing, they're writing laws, like no one chooses this because they would. It's unfortunate because they know society is against them. We got to come together and be positive and just be acceptance of who we are. And just, that's it. Who cares? Let's just all just love the soul, as Marlena said. Be acceptance, and we have to move on. And so do what you can to be positive about this. Don't be hateful, and don't forget to be awesome.
And I'll add to that by always saying, be uniquely yourself. Always be, unapologetically yourself. Accept everyone and know that behind this whole character that we put on, because every day I wake up and decide, what kind of character I'm going to be, what kind of clothes I'm going to put on. It's a creative to my artistic side, and you can create who you want to be, and just make sure you're creating somebody joyful and who's creating positive and for the world, and try to just be that person for everyone else. Be the best version of yourself, so that the rest of the world is creating something joyful as well. And if you don't have a home, I'll always be your friend over on Marlena Vision.
It. Y'all done with y'all happiness?
That's it.
So I always say, always remember and focus because that's what determines your reality. Because who you are and who you want to be, let that be your forefront of everything. And those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. So always focus on what makes you happy. Don't hurt anybody else. Do what you love and live for yourself and live for tomorrow, because tomorrow is not promised. So why worry about the things and people's opinions about today? Live for yourself. And like I say, don't worry about tomorrow. So thank y'all again for tuning in. Find us on PTGTV.online. You can catch this on all streaming platforms, because if you're listening now, you are on a streaming platform. We are always taking donations. I am taking donations. I am taking goddamn donations to go towards any current events or future events to come up. And thank y'all for tuning in as always.
Baby, I'm not going home with y'all.